So, meron akong paparinig sa inyo na, though it's a video, pero we're after the sound of it. Okay, so I want you to listen to this. And please you need to have good listening ears. So please listen.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Okay. Narinig nyo ba? Okay, was it clear naman? Is it clear? Okay, good. Can somebody, what are your observations for that? Anybody? And when I ask someone, what is your observation? Let's be more musicians in our comments. Okay? Wag lang yung bastang, ito po yung naramdaman ko, hindi ganun. More on, let's be intelligent, okay? In the way how we describe music, what we have heard. Anybody? Dan?
Parang consistent yung lips niya, tapos para siyang meron siyang mode. Parang ganun. Hindi siya yung random lang nag-lip. Parang meron siyang something mode eh.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. How about Ezekiel?
May melody, like yung sabi ni Dan, sir. May melody siya. And there's the forward motion, tsaka may motive na binabalikan niya, especially at the beginning. Parang at the beginning, he stated the motive first. And then parang he improvised or played with it as he went on.
Okay. Good observations. Thank you, Ezekiel and Dan. So, sa tingin nyo, anong use nung music na yun? Christian?
Sir, I think kahit na hindi ko siya naintindihan, para siyang it's either prayer or mourn. Pero according to sa narinig ko po, para po siyang ganon yung mode.
Okay, thank you. So somebody commented that it's a prayer song. So we call that, I need to share my screen for a while. Wait lang ah. Okay. So dahil lang naglo-load pa yung PowerPoint natin. So correct. That is a prayer song. Muslims call it a call to prayer. Okay? Ayan. They call it adan or it's a call to prayer. So, yung tinatawag na muizin, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. He's the one na kumakanta ng isang melodic line with added ornamentation. As you will hear, as you have heard rather kanina, meron siyang kinakantang parang it's a plain melodic line, and then the vocalist will repeat it, pero ornamented na siya. Okay, yung lyrics na yun. Okay, it has definite pitch just like what your classmates have told us. Meron siyang rhythm, kaya lang the rhythm it's much more freer than what we are used to, and it has a clear manifestation of contour, 'di ba? And for them, they don't consider this kind of music as singing talaga, but it's more of a heightened or holy speech. So hindi siya pwedeng kung sino-sino lang yung gumagawa or hindi trained yung gumagawa. And they do this often, 5 times daily sa mga Islamic nations. And nowadays, syempre, populated na yung area. So, kinakailangan nilang gumamit ng mga loudspeakers na naka-connect sa mga mosque nila. But before, they are used to doing this acoustically. Imagine, someone will be there on top of the tower and then doing this 5 times a day acoustically. When we say acoustically, without any amplification, imagine that. In the past, that's how they do it. And the purpose of the call, of course, is to communicate the message of a prayer. And as you have heard, it's highly virtuosic and melismatic. What do you mean by melismatic? It's one syllable pero maraming notes. Okay, one syllable pero maraming notes. And the set of pitches, just like what Dan told us, ay modal. Okay, it's not really based on the scale that we are accustomed to, specifically in Western music. And tulad ng sinabi ni Ezekiel, you will hear improvisation. So there is a melodically improvised line, vocal line there. Okay, so I have a question here. So as you can see, dumiretso na kaagad ako sa music nila. I will not dwell more on saan sila located sa mapa, because I think those things you can learn from various readings or even from the internet. So I have a question here that I want you to answer. What is something common between Islam, Judaism, and Christianity? What is something common between Islam, Judaism, and Christianity? Anybody? I'll stop sharing the screen. Okay.
I think,
Anyone?
ako sir, I
Yes,
think
Ian. Okay.
yung common po sa kanila is, though iba-iba ang paniwala, pero they have yung song of praise for their deity. Even.
Okay. Thank you, Ian. That's true, no? Na whoever, kung sino man yung wino-worship nila, and we all know na they, they are not worshiping the true God, the God of the Bible that we know. Somebody mentioned, I think Philip mentioned that they're monotheistic. When we say monotheistic, they believe in one God. Okay? Hindi sila yung katulad ng ibang countries that believe in various gods o polytheistic, we call it. Sila ay merong sinasambang isang Diyos. And I think that's one common thing amongst us, no? Pero we all know na hindi iyon yung what they worship, what the God that they worship, even though isa lang, hindi yun yung Diyos na wino-worship natin ngayon. Okay, good. Another thing that I want us to look at here. Marami tayong mapupulot sa prayer song na to eh. Okay. And alam nyo ba, meron ba dito na merong Islam background? Muslim background? Any of you? I cannot see your faces now because I'm sharing the screen, but meron ba sa inyo na merong Islam background? Anybody?
Like
Would
parang
you say
blood po.
yes? Kasi pwedeng by blood or pwedeng by practice, by culture. Meron ba? Philip, ikaw ba?
Friends lang po.
Ano po?
Marami kong friends na Muslim.
Oo, French. Kasi sa Mindanao,
Back in high school.
southern part of the Philippines ay actually maraming Muslim dyan. Okay, so lalo na yung mga taga Mindanao sa inyo, I think you can attest to that. So, are you familiar with this? Are you familiar with the denominations of Islam and how do they differ from each other? Philip?
I think one is extreme. Extreme, and then yung iba medyo parang hindi masyadong fundamental.
Okay, good. So, how about the others? So, sabi ni Philip kanina, meron daw tayong tinatawag na mga strict Muslims, no? Yung tinatawag nating fundamentalist na mga Islam. How about the others? Are you familiar with this, that they have denominations? So, I'm just poking from your from your head knowledge about the religion. And siguro some of you are asking, I thought this is a music lecture or class or discussion. Why are we dealing with religion now? So, especially for Islam, ito yung uri ng, yung music na meron sila is deeply tied to their religious belief. Okay, that's why we are discussing these things. So, anything more? So, may sinabi na si Pipoy na something about the fundamentalist Muslims. How about the rest?
Sir, guessing, sir.
Sige.
Modern, sir.
Modern?
Modern Muslim.
Modern Muslim? So, how is it different from the fundamentalist Muslims?
One of my classmates, sir, I asked her, kasi ano siya, wala siyang veil eh. So sabi nga, we are a part of modern Muslim. I don't think so if ano yung pagkakaiba nila regarding sa music po.
Pero in appearance, so itong mga modern Muslims, hindi na sila nag-wear ng veil, tama?
Opo, hindi na po.
Okay, so they're not really that strict. Okay, so ang mga Muslims, this is one good thing na hindi tayo Muslim. Kasi meron silang tinatawag na denominations because of a certain division na nangyari sa kanilang religion. So I think I need to stop the screen for a while. Stop. Ang nangyari, nung namatay si Muhammad, imagine, okay, nagkaroon ng division nung namatay yung kanilang sinasambang Diyos. Are you thankful that we don't have a God like that, na wino-worship natin na namatay? Okay? We're very thankful that the God that we worship ay spirit, and it's in 3 persons, and the God the Son, which is Jesus Christ, part na ng kanyang nature yung katawang tao. He's 100% man and 100% God. And I think in studying Islam, you will realize and you will be more thankful na hindi kayo ganito, na hindi kayo nadaya ng ganitong klaseng kulto o maling paniniwala. So ang nangyari, nung namatay si Muhammad, na-divide sila into various denominations. Ito yun. I will show you kung ano-ano yun. Okay, so here are the denominations and how do they differ from each one. So we have the Sunni. This is one denomination, and I think this is the majority of the Islamic branch. So ito yung mainstream. Siguro yung nabanggit nung isa niyong classmate kanina, hindi ito yung mga modernist. Ito yung mga strict believers of Muhammad. So hanggang ngayon, I think pinapractice pa rin nila yung mga tradition nitong tinatawag na Sunni. So meron din naman tayong tinatawag na Shia. Sila yung isa pang denomination na minority ang kanilang minority sila, and majority of this minority ay galing from Iraq and Iran, and they believe na ang mas rightful successor ay si Ali, no, yung cousin and son-in-law ni Muhammad. Okay, and they designate their spiritual leaders as imam. They call them imam. And we also have, ito ay smaller sect naman. They call it Sufi. And if you're familiar with Sufism, dito yun ang galing. So this is the mystical branch of Islam. And again, it's a smaller sect. And they seek union with God through trance. Kaya yung kanilang religious practice, their ritual is, you will see a whirling dance. I will show a video later, accompanied by music. And because of that, merong mga Muslims na ang pananaw nila sa Sufi ay very unorthodox. Kasi nga merong mga mystical ideas involved in it. Okay? So I will show you a video of Sufism, and I want you to listen to it and to take down notes as much as you can, and we will discuss some of it later.
Istanbul, the city on the Bosphorus, offers a host of attractions. Everything from its old palaces and mosques to its whirling dervishes enthrall visitors to this thriving metropolis. These dancers are Muslims who strive to get closer to God through their movements. Karin Gug from France came to Istanbul to find out more about the whirling dervishes. They're adherents of Sufism, often called the mystical dimension of Islam. Their religion is more about searching for meaning and spiritual development than dogma and interdictions.
Kendini unutmak,
It's about forgetting yourself,
Allah'ı düşünerek
leaving your ego behind while you're whirling,
Kur'an.
and thinking about God.
Kur'an'ı okursan,
That's the path that the Quran shows us if you read it properly. At least that's the way our founder Mevlana showed us.
Kur'an'dan beslendi.
The souvenir stores in town have also picked up on the dervish trend. The dancing dervishes sell like hotcakes, but only a few people know what they stand for. Young architect Karin Gug was surprised to find such a mystical movement belonged to Islam.
For me, religion is this philosophy of life. So that means being respectful, trying to find a balance in your life. I've always been interested in dervishes. I mean, for me, it was kind of mystic. I was curious about it. How can they turn so long also during the Sema?
But you won't find any dervishes in the mosques of Istanbul. They practice their faith in private. Before, they lived an ascetic life in monasteries. The Turkish state prohibited all Sufi orders in 1925, but later allowed their dances to be performed in public. Today, their adherents are appalled to see how the Quran is being misused for political purposes. They prefer to devote themselves to their meditative music.
What humanity needs the most right now is love, but unfortunately everyone is only looking to maximize profit. Our founder Mevlana's philosophy was, my mother is love, my father is love, my prophet is love, my God is love, and I am a child of love.
Ben aşkın çocuğuyum diyor.
At this museum in Galata, housed in a former dervish monastery, Karin Gug visits an exhibition on the history of the whirling dervishes. The religious order has been banned by the Turkish state numerous times, and to this day it's targeted by radical Islamists, partly because women aren't forbidden from dancing.
It's not, how can I say that, a religion, that is putting pressure on people. You practice it if you want to practice. There was no war for Sufism, for example, to expand it, to try to expand it. And that's very interesting, I think.
Ahead of a traditional ceremony known as Sema, a dervish explains how the dance works. The palm of the right hand faces upwards to receive God's blessing. The left palm faces down to share the blessings with this world. The dancers turn in time to the rhythm of the music, and in doing so, hope to get closer to God.
These people seem to be very passionate about what they are doing, so it's going like something a bit different than religion is.
The ceremony begins. The dervishes start whirling faster and faster and seem to enter a state of rapture. Spectators soon fall under their spell, Karin Gug included. For her, these dancers have put a whole new spin on Islam.
Okay, so what did you learn about Sufism there? Anybody? Raya?
They're very mystical po. Like, they use music to be closer with God. And it's like their dances, like they use that parang like, it's more, para sa kanila, it's more of like love, 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 and love. It's more of that. And one thing na nakita ko po din is like their religion, they didn't di katulad po ng ibang religion, like sa Islamic na they don't use wars to expand yung growth ng kanilang, the growth of the religion. They don't use wars. For them, it's just like all love.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for that, Raya. So, ngayon maintindihan nyo why is it a smaller sect, no? Kasi nga, kahit sila mismo, kung tatanungin mo lahat ng Muslim, hindi naman lahat nagpa-practice ng ganito. So this is just another quote-unquote denomination that we can say, no? We can categorize. Okay, so I have a question here in relation to that. Okay. Okay, this is my question. What does the Bible say about mysticism? And Sufism is one of them. Did you remember any verse from the Bible that talks about mysticism or believing in spiritual trance and the likes? Anybody? And siguro some of you are asking, why are we relating it to us always? No, kasi instead of saying mga disclaimers, no, because we are studying cultures as well, kailangan natin malaman yung stand natin as believers. Kasi specifically, we're talking about religion and we need to know our stand from the Bible. Okay? So what does the Bible say about mysticism or Sufism? Anybody? Si ano na lang. Okay. Si Mr. Asuncion, Daniel Allen, what did you remember any verse from the Bible that talks about mysticism or belief in these kinds of things? Wala? Sige, how about si Mayflower?
First John 4:1, sir.
Ano
About
po?
First John chapter 4 verse 1.
Okay.
Tama ba?
So,
It's
ano
about
ang...
the Spirit.
Okay. Is it the one we need to test the spirits if they are of gods or not?
Opo. And false prophets.
Okay.
And also sa may ba yung verse na yan. And it talks about na we should discern if that the spirit is from the world or from God.
Mm-hmm. And what does it say about do we need to believe in those kinds of things? Or parang let's get to the point. Is mysticism allowed for Christians to involve yourself in some kind of a spiritual trance?
Hindi po.
Hindi. Okay, so we can see from that point of view na hindi sa atin as believers of the Bible and the true God, we are not practicing these kinds of things, no? So, yan. Good. So thank you, Mayflower, for sharing that verse. And there are lots of verses. Naalala niyo si Paul? Si Paul kasi, di ba, in sharing in proclaiming the gospel to dun sa mga pinupuntahan niya, sa missionary journeys that he has accomplished. Marami dun iba't ibang kultura at nakakabangga niya talaga iba't ibang cultures. And the churches sometimes that natayo niya sa isang lugar, iba ang religious background nun. That's why may mga times na kinakailangan niya na i-rebut yun, no? So, I have here a picture and I think yung iba sa inyo nakakaalam kung ano ito. I think periodically pumupunta ang mga Muslim sa lugar na to to worship ng sama-sama. Yung iba talaga alam ko nagli-leave pa sa work or even sa studies nila just to go to this place. Did you know this place? This is a symbol of Islamic religion. We call this the Mecca. Okay? Yung Mecca, tapos yung nasa gitna, yan yung tinatawag na Kaaba. Okay? At dyan umiikot ang religious life ng mga Muslim, no? May mga times na kinakailangan nila kahit nasang lugar sila humarap kung saan nandoon itong Mecca just to do their 5 times na prayer sa isang araw. May mga occasions sila na yung prayers nila ginagawa pa nila 7 times a day. So imagine how religiously engaged itong mga Muslims sa kanilang sa Islam. And this one, ito yung sinasabi kong tower kanina. Remember the call to prayer? Yung magko-call sa prayer, aakyat dyan and we'll sing that prayer. Okay? We'll sing that prayer. So imagine kung napakalaki ng lugar at ganyan yung paglalagyan niya, 'di ba? Kailangan yung lalamunan medyo equipped, no? Lalo na kung acoustical yung way ng pagkanta mo, sabihin walang amplification. So mahirap. Dapat talaga alam ng boses mo kung yung abilidad niya para makagawa ng ganitong mga bagay. So let's go to some aesthetic theories sa kanilang music. So when you say aesthetic theories, their concept of what is beautiful. So ngayon ang context lang na pinapag-aralan natin is their music, pero I think you will see this in their visual arts and some other art forms. Okay? So for them, shockingly, music, our concept of music, especially from the West, for them, it's overly sensual. Okay? It's overly sensual. For them, any expression that combine pitch and rhythm are divided into higher level category na ang tawag nila non-musika, and meron din silang tinatawag na lower level category, ang tawag ay musika. Okay? So, differentiating the two, for non-musika, so non-musika is the higher level category, no? Yung non-musika. So they consider this kind of music as legitimate. So the call to prayer that we heard kanina, yung Adan, is a legitimate form of music sa kanila. And this includes some other practices as well, such as yung readings from the Quran, yung holy book na tinatawag nila, and some chanted poetries. On the other category, the musika, meron silang music sa under the musika na sinasabi nila na legitimate pa rin. So such as yung familial, and celebratory songs, occupational songs, and some military band music. Yan yung uri ng music na legitimate for them to use. Pero, different ito from the non-musika o non-musika. Okay? And there are some music as well under the musika that are controversial. some classical genres, and some local types of folk music. At ito, yung mga extremist na mga Muslims, dinidiscourage nila tong mga gantong tradition. And there are also some illegitimate music na talagang kinoconsider nila as sensual. Sabi dun sa material natin, American popular music daw. So, ano sila, ayaw nila nun. Okay, sa kanila, that's illegitimate. Okay, so I have a question here that I want us to answer. Based on what we have discussed dito sa ano yung concept nila of what defines a good music, could you explain this idea? Musical definitions are culture-based and not universal. Musical definitions are culture-based and not universal. Okay. Musical definitions are culture-based and not universal. That's a good idea to ponder. What would you say? What can you say there? Si ano, dahil wala masyadong nagvo-volunteer, si ayan. Yung unang ngumiti, tatawagin natin. Si ano na lang. Jonathan Flor. Hindi na nga siya ngumiti, natawag pa rin. Jonathan Flor. Could you explain that? Ano sa tingin mo yung idea na yun na musical definitions are culture-based and not universal? What can you say about that?
Yung ano po, yung the perception of people sa isang genre or music in general is shaped by culture. Pero I don't agree na that's the only parameters para sa pag-understand music, because on the other hand, there is a perception of universality ng music. But ano po, yung kasama dun yung yung belief systems, yung way of life ng certain people. And so pinapasa yung from generation to generation, and so the way people see music is based on what they are taught nung pinasa sa kanila.
Okay. So thank you, Jonathan, for that. When we say universal, what do we mean by universal musical definition? Anong from the term itself, from the phrase itself, anong pagkakaunawa nyo dun? Is there such a thing as that na universal musical definition? Si Philip. Let's go back to Philip.
Universal in terms that everyone can relate. It communicates to everyone, so everyone has the same perception, at least in surface, of that idea.
Regardless of culture, regardless of cultural background. Okay? So, iyon yung ibig sabihin natin doon ng universal musical definition. Kasi 'di ba, meron silang tulad nung na-tackle natin kanina, they have a concept of what music should sound like. Okay? Kaya nga nagkaroon sila ng mga categories, non-musika, musika, and under musika, meron pa silang mga legitimate, illegitimate, meron pa silang controversial. So, if you are thinking, bakit sila nagkaroon ng ganun? No? It's because of their culture. Okay? Though, on the other hand, meron naman tayong tinatawag na universal definition ng music. Diba? Meron tayong ganun. So meron ba dito na hindi naniniwala na merong musical definition ng music? Ian.
Sir, actually, hindi ko alam kung that exists po eh. May musical definition po ang music? Yun po
Oo.
ba yung...
I mean, may universal definition ng music. Kasi sabi nga nila, di ba? Have you encountered the term or the sentence, music is the universal language? Di ba? So. Yun yung nagsasabi na may universal definition ng music.
I think so
what can you say about that?
I think po merong universal.
Meron.
Opo.
Mm-hmm. Regardless of background.
Yes po. Kasi po, even if you say nakasama yung culture dun sa kind of music that they're listening, it's still music in a sense. And it's pretty evident po na music can suit a mind. Kaya nakakapagano po siya sa isip ng tao.
Okay. Okay, good. Sana lahat tayo naniniwala dun. Okay? Kung meron man dito na hindi naniniwala sa universal definition of music, usapin nyo si Sir B. Si Dr. B. I think God created music like that. Okay? May sinasabi si Raya. Basahin ko yung sinabi ni Raya. Okay. Sabi niya, maybe music in a universal sense is a language because it communicates through the emotions. Okay, that's another thing, no? If we will look at through the another aspect of music communication, yung emotions, marahil doon, no? It really affects emotions. I think walang kultura na ang music ay hanggang physical lang, no? Meron siyang affect na part. Meron siyang affect na bahagi. Whatever culture ang background mo. So, why are we discussing this? Kasi yun nga, yun nakita natin sa kanilang aesthetic theory or ideology, itong Islam, the reason why they categorize music in various ways. And even us, diba, in our culture, may ganun din tayo. Diba? Bakit natin masasabi, lalo na tayo ng mga believers na this music is allowed for us, this certain kind of music is not allowed for us. In a way, we are also saying, this is legitimate kind of music, this is illegitimate kind of music. So, even us, di ba, meron tayong ganong pagka-categorize sa music. And that's because, just like what Jonathan has mentioned kanina, because of our belief system na pinaniniwalaan natin. So, meron din tayong sariling aesthetic ideology. Okay? So, meron pa tayong i-deal. So, isa pa lang i-deal natin, vocal music pa lang. And it's just one aspect of Islamic music. Itong nasa non-musika, itong ang call to prayer. But you can see how gaano ka tied up, no, yung religion sa kanilang musical applications. And I think that's very true for Islam music. So we will tackle some of it sa mga susunod. Meron akong isang instrument na i-introduce sa inyo next meeting. And we will talk more about that next week. Okay? So we'll stop here, and if there are no more announcements from the your main teachers, we are free to leave. Meron pa ba, Ma'am Sarah, Ma'am Regine?
Wala naman po. So next week, continuation po di ba ng lecture na ito? Okay po. And I'm sending sa inyo na yung playlist ng lahat ng music from Southeast Asia para sa darating nating listening report. Okay. So yun lang.
Thank you. Salamat.
Okay. Bye.